one man, with the task to spread light to the world.
The last in a long line of prophets, laying the foundation for Islam and the ultimate role model to its 1.5 billion followers.
Muhammad, orphaned at 6, a shepherd in his teens, later becoming a merchant, accompanying caravans to trade centers along the coast of Saudi Arabia.
But it wasn't until Muhammad was in his 40s that he started to receive revelations from Archangel Gabriel that his word would start to spread to the world.
Who is Muhammad? What was his message and how is his image different today?
Born in the mountain town of Mecca in the year 570, Muhammad was the first and only son of Allah and Amina. Muhammad's name derives from the Arabic verb hamada, meaning to praise or to glorify.
His mother, Amina, was the daughter of Wahab ibn Abdul Manaf of the Zahra family. His father, Abdullah, was the son of Abdul Muttalib. His ancestors can be traced to the noble house of Ishmael, the son of Prophet Ibrahim.
Muhammad's father passed away before he was born, so his mother, Amina, had to step up and take the job to raise him. Later in the years, his mother decided that if she passed away and couldn't take care of him, that she would have the nurse Halima take care of him. Halima was from a nomadic tribe where he later grew up in the hill country, learning the tribe's pure Arabic. When Muhammad was 5 years old, his mother took him to an oasis town called Yahrib to visit his father's grave.
In the village of Abwa, on the Mecca-Medina road, Halima, his nurse, returned to Mecca with the orphaned boy and placed him in the protection of his paternal grandfather, Abdul Muttalib. In this man's care, Muhammad learned the rudiments of statecraft. Mecca was Arabia's most important pilgrimage center, and Abdul al-Muttalib, its most respected leader. He controlled important pilgrimage concessions and frequently presided over Mecca's Council of Elders.
In his mid-20s, Muhammad entered the administration of a rich Meccan dealer named Khaja. The two were far-off cousins. Muhammad sold her merchandise towards the north and came back with a profit. Soon thereafter, dazzled by Muhammad's trustworthiness and character, Khaja in the end proposed marriage. They were married in around 595, when Muhammad was 25 years old. She was about 40. Muhammad kept on dealing with the Khaja business issues, and then 1 year from when they were married, they had 6 kids. 2 children passed away at birth, and 4 made it out alive. Mecca thrived as well, turning into a wealthy exchanging center in the hands of a first-class gathering group.
He started making long journeys to a mountain cavern outside town. There, he fasted and reflected. While Muhammad was praying, Muhammad was visited by an angel named Gabriel, who was taught to present expressions of such excellence and power. This experience shook Muhammad deeply. It was quite a while before he set out to discuss it outside his family.
After a few similar encounters, Muhammad started to uncover the messages he was getting to his clan. What he revealed would later turn into the Quran, Islam's holy sacred text. In the following years, Muhammad and his followers would be harassed and scorned.
Muhammad was now given a special responsibility. He had a message for the people. Like the other prophets before him, he believed that he was given the word of God and the vision of a better future, but Muhammad denied having any miraculous powers. He was solely a man that insisted no wonders were associated with his name. The only wonders were the words of God that he preached, and the message was the only miracle that mattered. Muhammad's message was monotheistic. For quite a long while, the Quraysh, Mecca's predominant clan, exacted a prohibition on exchange with Muhammad's kin, exposing them to approach starvation conditions. At the decade's end, Muhammad's significant other and uncle both passed away. At last, the pioneers of Mecca endeavored to murder Muhammad.
Muhammad and his followers soon left in 622 for Yathrib, the town where his father was buried. The leaders of Yathrib were suffering through a brutal civil war and were looking for guidance. Muhammad, at that point, was a well-known man for his wisdom and was invited to act as their meditator. The town soon became known as Medina, the town of the Prophet, named after Muhammad. He stayed there for 6 years, building the first Muslim community, and that continued to grow.
The Meccans didn't agree with Muhammad's new accomplishments. Early experiences started 3 noteworthy battles in the accompanying 3 years. Of these, the Muslims won the head, the Battle of Badr, March 624. They lost the second, the Battle of Uhud, March 625, and then outlasted the third, the Battle of the Trench, in the Siege of Medina, in April 627. In March 628, a deal was set apart between the various sides, which saw the Muslims as another power in Arabia and gave them chance to move through Arabia. Meccan peoples bursted the deal a year later.
By now, the power had shifted away from Mecca and moved towards Muhammad and the Muslims. In January 630, they traveled to Mecca and were joined by many other tribes. They entered Mecca without losing a man. The Meccans, seeing that they were losing control, gave in and joined Muhammad.
Muhammad came back to live in Medina. In the following 3 years, he united the greater part of the Arabian Peninsula under Islam. In March 632, he came back to Mecca one final time to play out a journey, and a huge number of Muslims went along with him. After the journey, he headed back to Medina. A quarter of a year later, on June 8, 632, Muhammad passed away there. After a concise sickness, he was buried in the mosque in Medina. In 100 years, Muhammad's actions and lifestyle had spread from the remote corners of Arabia as far as East Indochina and as far as West Morocco, France, and Spain. The Quran doesn't talk about Muhammad very much, but it does talk about his initial life. However, it discusses his moral greatness and religious issues with respect to Muhammad. As for the Quran, Muhammad is toward the end in a chain of prophets sent by God. All through the Quran, Muhammad is alluded to as emissary, detachment of God, and the prophet. After Muhammad passed, the followers of Muhammad split into two groups, the Sunnis and the Shiites. Each group believes in Muhammad and his knowledge, but they both have different beliefs of him. Sunni Islam is the largest denomination of Islam, followed by 87 to 90% of the world's Muslims. Its name comes from the word Sunnah, referring to the behavior of the Islamic prophet Muhammad. The Sunnis recognize the first four caliphs as the Prophet Muhammad's rightful successors, whereas the Shia believe that Muslim leadership belonged to Muhammad's son-in-law, Ali, and his descendants alone. The Shiites believe that only Allah, the God of the Islam faith, can select religious leaders, and that therefore all successors must be direct descendants of Muhammad's family. They maintain that Ali, Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law, was their rightful heir to the leadership of the Islam religion after Muhammad's death. In the clip I'm about to play, it shows an American man expressing his first and second right towards a mosque in Phoenix. And he quotes in the video, "These people are on notice, and we are not afraid of them. If they want to promote their terrorism, they can do it somewhere else," which implies his opinion of hatred on the Muslims. His thoughts are hindered and swayed because of the terrorist attacks on America, and that he believes that the followers of Muhammad are behind these terrorist attacks. Many Americans believe in this opinion towards the Muslims, but are becoming more open every day.
Expecting hundreds to gather for a controversial cartoon contest depicting the Prophet Muhammad right outside this Phoenix mosque. I noticed that you are armed.
Yes, ma'am. It is a 9mm Ruger, and it is loaded, and there is a round in the chamber. I have another weapon in my pocket.
Why have you come out here armed like this and shown it off?
I am out here to show that the United States has the First Amendment and the Second Amendment rights, and that these people are on notice. We're not afraid of them. They want to promote their terrorism, they can do it somewhere else, not in this state, not this country.
Warren, who doesn't want to give his last name, heard about the rally like hundreds of others after this invitation went out on Facebook.
From a young orphaned boy being passed around from relative to relative, the last prophet of Islam was formed. As a young adult working for a merchant spreading his name, something that would benefit him later in his life. As an adult receiving the words of God, creating the Quran, and influencing the lives of almost 2 billion people. Although the meaning behind Muhammad's name has been altered in some eyes, the real world of Muhammad is sacred to Islam and creates a sense of identity. Thank you.